guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Katie, and today I want to talk about something that I feel super passionate about as a mom, as a woman, especially as a homeschooling mom, a stay-at-home mom who spends the majority of her time with her kids, and that is self-care. You guys have probably heard that saying, you cannot pour into somebody else if you have an empty cup. And that's kind of what I want to just chat with you guys about today. You have to fill your own cup, and there are many ways that you can do that. You kind of have to find what works for you and make it a priority. And again, I just feel super passionate about that because that's something that I've had to learn in my journey of motherhood that I'm now a decade into. And I didn't always, I think, work with my self-care as well as I should. And so I just want to encourage you and maybe give you some fresh ideas, some new ideas, and hopefully some encouragement for you today. Okay, the first thing that I want to talk about is a big one, and it's one that I think especially if you are a mother, you probably struggle with. And that is treating yourself. I think that sometimes as moms, we always are having to buy our kids things, right? We are having to buy them clothes because they grow out of them so quickly or they ruin them quickly. We're buying them toys or gifts for birthdays, Christmas, holidays. We're doing everything for everybody else, and sometimes we neglect ourselves. And so I think it's super important to treat yourself every now and then because you deserve it. You as a mother, you as a wife, you as a woman, you as a whatever you are in your career, if you work, outside the home, you deserve it. And I think that sometimes we can feel guilty. Like I know a lot of women don't like to spend money on themselves because they just feel like, well, I should be doing this or I could be doing this. But I want to encourage you to treat yourself, and it doesn't have to be super often. Maybe you only want to do something once a month, or I don't know, whatever it is in your schedule that you work up. But I don't want you to feel guilty for treating yourself because I think that it's something that is important because you're important and you have value and you should feel important and special. And so I want to thank MS Blue for collaborating with me on this portion of the video because with their help, I treated myself, and I wanted to share with you guys. MS Blue is a jewelry line and they have really, really pretty stuff. And I have been trying to get back into wearing jewelry. I have my ears pierced and I did not wear earrings for a long time because when I was pregnant with my son, I developed an allergic reaction. However, recently I have tried to get back into wearing earrings because I want to, because they're fun and they're pretty and they make me happy. And so I've found out that my ears can tolerate it. So that is great news. So I got these beautiful moissanite earrings. They're like a halo style. And moissanite, it looks like a diamond, but without the diamond price tag, which is great. And then I got this beautiful pearl necklace with real pearls on it. And so these are just quality pieces, which is great because I love jewelry, but a lot of times I tend to buy the cheap jewelry. And so I am treating myself, and I want you guys to know that it's okay to treat yourself too. Even with things like jewelry, because it's pretty and it makes us happy. So if you are looking to treat yourself with some quality pieces, I will have their link to their website in the description box below, as well as a coupon code so you won't feel quite as guilty for treating yourself. And thank you again, MS Blue, for collaborating with me on this portion of today's video. And it doesn't have to be jewelry. Maybe that's not your thing, or maybe in your mind that's even still too much money. It could be whatever. A new book, a new blanket, something, going somewhere, doing something, but treating yourself with something extra out of your normal routine that makes you feel important and valued. And this kind of goes along with that. But I have been getting my nails professionally done for several years now. I didn't used to because I thought it was too expensive. And I would just paint them at home and then they would chip. And it was like, what is the point? Why am I wasting my time on this? But I always used to bite my nails or pick at them, and they looked so ugly and I hated the way that they looked. And when I started getting them done professionally, I realized that I don't pick at them or do anything, so they stay pretty. And yes, it's a extravagant thing, I guess. It's a luxury, but I do it for me because I like the way that they look, I like the way that they feel, and it makes me happy. And so it's something that I do for myself for my self-care time. I get the dip so that they last. As you can see, I need to go get mine. I'm actually going in just a few days because it has been 5 weeks that I've had these on and they still look perfect besides being grown out. So if you get the dip, they do last a long time. So I get them done like once every 5 weeks. So to me, I'm worth it. And that's something that I do for me. The next thing I want to talk about for self-care is just sitting down, resting, and having a hot cup of coffee. That is one of my favorite things to do in the afternoon. Like I said, I'm a homeschool mom, so we homeschool. And when school is over and when lunch is over, I like to send my kids. They can go, play and have some time to themselves, and then let me just sit for a moment and just be. And I love to have a hot cup of coffee and just kind of rest, maybe meditate on, how the day is going so far, things that I still need to do, but just have that moment of rest. I think it's so important, especially if you are a go, 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 get everything done. You still need those small moments to sit and rest. And maybe coffee's not your thing. Maybe you want a cup of tea or hot chocolate. And then if you don't like hot drinks, you could have an iced drink too. I also love, love, love iced coffee. It is one of like my biggest weaknesses. And of course I can't drink that every day because I do not want to be going, as much as I want to go to Dunkin' every day, I can't do that. I can't justify that, but maybe two times a week or something like that. You could treat yourself to a iced coffee, a iced tea, maybe soda is your thing, whatever. But that's definitely a part of self-care also, just allowing yourself those moments to sit down and rest. Along with rest, you do want to make sure that you're getting enough sleep. Again, I think that this is hard for moms because, at least in my experience, once you put your kids to bed for the night, it's like you have those few hours, those moments of silence where you can binge watch your shows, watch a movie, play on your computer or your phone. And it is so easy to stay up late because that's your time, your only time. But you do want to make sure that you're getting enough rest because, again, you need to recharge and you cannot have the energy and have the motivation for the next day if you're not taking care of yourself. And I think that that can be hard, especially if you have little ones that are waking up through the night too, because then you're even losing more sleep at night. So definitely try to get as much sleep, go to bed early, even if it feels hard to do that. Another thing that I really love is reading. I'm a big reader, and that kind of goes along with sitting down and just resting, having some quiet time to yourself reading. And maybe reading's not your thing. Maybe you like to journal. I know a lot of people love to journal, and that's not really my thing. That's not really something that I've ever been able to get into, but I know it works for a lot of people, being able to journal and write out your thoughts. And I think that that can be a really great thing for self-care also. Another thing is maybe going and taking a walk, just getting outside, the fresh air, and a change of scenery and moving your body can really help you to feel recharged and like you're taking care of yourself. And if the weather's bad or maybe physically you can't walk because of whatever, even going for a drive, if you can find like country roads or back roads anywhere in your area, like a scenic route that you could just take a nice quiet drive and maybe listen to your favorite music in the car, or even like a podcast that you're into. I think that would be a great option too. I love going for drives when I'm in like a pretty area or when it's nice out or whatever, and having no destination in mind, but just going, it's relaxing to me, super relaxing. Another thing that I think is important for self-care is finding hobbies that you like. I know so many women, especially once you become a mom, it's like, do you have any hobbies? And that can be hard to find time to do those or even know, what you're into, but they don't have to be big, extravagant hobbies. So something that I like to do, and this is something that I do usually in the evenings after I put the kids to bed and me and my husband are, having our time to just chill and watch a show together or whatever, I love to do those diamond art sets. To me, they're just so relaxing and so fun and satisfying to see it all come together. But I know people love to do puzzles. Some people like to paint. Some people like to crochet or knit or embroider. So something like that, you could do just while you're sitting and relaxing and resting, but that stimulates your mind and feels like you're accomplishing something. I think it's really satisfying and good for our mental health when you feel like you have accomplished something. That's why sometimes I even like to make lists of like chores and housework that I need to do, because physically writing those on a piece of paper and then physically crossing them off or marking them off is so satisfying and makes you feel like you accomplished things, even if your house is still a mess. Because let's face it, when you have kids, there is always something to clean, and there is always going to be, like, you're living in your house. It's lived in. That's what it's made to do. So it can feel good to know that you have done something and you've accomplished things for the day. Something else that I think is really great for self-care is doing something like for your skin. So I know that there are so many fun face mask options, and maybe you can afford to go get a facial, and if you can, that is great. But I know that for a lot of us, those are expensive, or it's hard to find the time to be able to go do that, especially if you have kids. But there are so many affordable options at Dollar Tree, at Walmart, at Target to buy like the face masks that you can do at home. And so that is fun. It refreshes you. It makes you feel refreshed. You could also take a bubble bath. I know a lot of people are into bubble baths, and that's like a really nice, relaxing time for them. I prefer to take a super hot shower. Like, I want the water to be so hot that it makes my skin turn red. But to me, that is so relaxing. I even like to like turn the lights off and light candles in my bathroom while I'm taking a hot shower. And honestly, that is where I get a lot of my thinking done. I think over things that happened in the day, or think of things that I need to do for the next day. I also pray in the shower a lot. I know that that sounds so weird, but that is one of my best places because I'm by myself. It's quiet. I have no distractions, and I can like actually focus and pray. Maybe for you, you want to, meditate or just rest and not have to think about anything. Two other things that I think are important for self-care, they kind of go hand in hand. One is setting boundaries. That's hard for some people. I know that some people are people pleasers and they want to say yes to everything. But if you overcommit yourself, you're going to burn out. You're going to feel frazzled, overwhelmed, stressed, anxious, and that's not good for anybody. So setting boundaries, making sure that you have certain days maybe where you're not doing anything, you don't have much going on, especially if you tend to be a people pleaser. Just setting those boundaries and protecting your mental health and your time with your family. But at the same time, I do think it's important to also connect with others, because I think that I think COVID made this a lot worse for some people, is that they isolated themselves so much, and that's not good either. I know people that have isolated themselves, and it really does a number on their mental health, because we're not made to be isolated. We're created to interact and to have relationships with people. So I do think it's important to make sure that you're taking time to connect with friends. Maybe it's a friend that you haven't seen in forever, or even going on actual dates with your husband, doing stuff like that, going to family events. I think it's important to connect with others and make sure that you're not isolating yourselves. I think also sometimes when people are struggling mentally, they do tend to isolate themselves. And I think that makes it worse. I think that you got to force yourself sometimes to connect with others, and reach out. And I think that does help. Just knowing that there's people that love you, care about you, want to listen, want to be there for you, and to lift you up and share the burden with you. And then another thing that I think is super important is time away. This is especially if you are a mom, if you work a very busy, very involved job, time away. So this is something that me and my husband implemented into our family several years into motherhood, because like I said, I've always been a stay-at-home mom. I've always been with my kids, and that I love it. I wouldn't trade it for the world, but if you're with your kids 24/7, there are times when you just need to get away. And so my husband and I both realized this, and this is what we do that works for us, is we've scheduled time for me to be able to take, one morning a week. And sometimes it's not every week, but maybe every other week or whatever can work into your schedule. But for me to be able to go by myself without the kids and do errands, or maybe even go to the thrift store or go to TJ Maxx or Target, and not have a bunch of children with me, that's very distracting. And just to be able to go somewhere by myself, or maybe go get my nails done, or go sit down at a local coffee shop with a book, something like that. But I think time away, even if it's just for an hour, is so important when you have a very, routine life, very busy life, very demanding schedule, whether it's at your job or because you're a mom or whatever. And then I personally have never done this, but I know so many women that have, and it has been so beneficial for them. If you can manage it, maybe even doing like a night away by yourself at a hotel, even if you don't even leave your town, having a night to yourself at a hotel while your husband watches the kids or whatever, so that you can rest and recharge. I think that, like I said, I think that's really beneficial for some women. I've never done it, like I said, but my husband does really good on letting me have moments to be able to be by myself. And I know that it's harder for some people. Some people are single moms. Some people don't have a husband that can do this, maybe with a job schedule or whatever. Hopefully you have a support system. Maybe you have grandparents that are involved, even if you don't have any family around. Having friendships, maybe you and another mom friend could trade off. Like, you watch her kids while she goes and runs some errands, and then she can do the same for you. But that's another reason why I think it's important to connect with others and to be able to have relationships like that, because you can help each other out with things like this. So I think that those are kind of my main ways that I recommend practicing self-care. And I think that these are all ways, like nothing expensive, nothing crazy, nothing extravagant, kind of ways that you can incorporate into your daily routine, to work on your self-care, to work on the way that you view yourself, your mental health, and knowing that you're valued, knowing that you're important. I think it's just super important. So I hope that this has been an encouragement to you. I hope that this has maybe motivated you to put yourself first and maybe try one of these things this week, whether it's treating yourself to something, getting a coffee in the drive-thru, or just resting and recharging mentally, emotionally, spiritually. But I hope that this really did encourage you and help you out. If it did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.